What if you could avoid heartbreak before it even begins? That's exactly what happened to Hannah when one question changed everything in her love life. In this video, we are going to explore how one question changed everything for Hannah and opened the door for her to meet her true soulmate. So Hannah was looking to meet her soulmate or her life partner, and she was looking with the help of dating apps, and she came across a really nice person, and she wanted to find out if the relationship was going to last. And we dove into a psychic reading, and essentially the reading kind of told her that the relationship was, let's say, not meant to be. So how exactly did she go about handling this particular answer, and how did it play out in real life? Stick around and you're going to find the story very, very interesting. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Khade. I'm an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I show you how you can leverage the power of stars for your love life. So in this video, we are going to explore how asking the right question during a reading is going to help you uncover so many things that you wouldn't otherwise have, and give you so much clarity and help you avoid so much heartbreak, and kind of lead you towards the person that you are trying to meet or your soulmate. It can lead you towards your true soulmate. Here's what you're going to learn in this video: how you can avoid heartbreak, case study for Hannah's journey, and how to speed up an ending. Your goal is to find out if the relationship is meant to last. Otherwise, you're better off cutting your losses sooner rather than later. So how you can avoid heartbreak? So as a psychic, I do lots of readings, like lots and lots of readings. And a lot of people who consult me, they have something which is not going right, because obviously when things are going right, most people will not really consult a psychic. Some of them may do for different reasons, but that's not what we're going to get into here. So most of the times, people that come to me, they are kind of having some problem or some issue or some doubts or concerns, and that is the reason they are seeking help. Now, one of the things that people seek help for is when they are unsure of whether or not the relationship is going to move forward, whether or not it is going to lead to a long-term thing. And knowing this answer, it can avoid a lot of heartbreak, but it also depends on when you ask the question. Are you asking this question when things are really, really bad? Or you're asking this question at the very beginning of the relationship when things are nice and rosy? Because depending on when you ask this question, you're going to receive the information differently, and your ability to absorb this information is going to be very different. Because think about it, let's say you're asking this question in the beginning of the relationship. So at that time, things are really, really new. And in a way, you are more open to accepting the result either this way or that way. Yes, it can go like right or wrong, or right or wrong is not the right way to say it, but essentially it can lead towards a long-term relationship, or it can just fall apart, say within a few months or few weeks or whatever the period may be. So at the beginning of the relationship, you're kind of more open to accepting this. However, if let's say that you've been together for however amount of period of time, say 3 months or 6 months, and then you come to me and then you're asking this question because things are not so rosy anymore, and I tell you that things are going to fall apart, you guys are not going to be together for long term, you're going to receive the information differently, because your emotional state of mind is not the same. Because you have spent so much time with that person, you are like still sort of living in the past, because you kind of want things to work out. So at this point in time, you're going to absorb the information very, very differently. Some of you may absorb it, and some of you may say, you know what, that I am wrong, and then I'm going to prove you wrong, or whatever the case may be. But you have to understand, I have no selfish interest in whatever a relationship you guys come to me with, because I am just being neutral and I'm just reading what I see. Whether I'm not judging whether I like it or you like it. I'm not making any judgment calls. It's very neutral. I'm just telling you that, okay, this is what I see. And then you have to wait and see how this movie is going to play out in real life. So a lot of people, they stay in relationships for different reasons. Like I mentioned, the case where you travel all the way until here, and then at this point is when you come to me because things are not so good, and then you're not really ready to accept the truth until, maybe 3 months from then or 6 months from then, you find that, okay, whatever I said was most likely true, and it's kind of unlikely that, we'll kind of get back, or whatever the case may be. So it is important for you in the very beginning to listen to your intuition, to listen to your gut feelings, and see where things are missing or not adding up. Because believe it or not, in the beginning there were indications, there were red flags. It's just that you were not able to see the red flags, or your awareness wasn't high enough, or your intuition wasn't developed enough for you to be able to see through those things. But the red flags were there. And I just did one more video before this. You can watch that video, which I will link in the description. So the easiest way is, if you find the red flags, to kind of dive deep into it and break up early, so that you can avoid a lot of heartbreak later down the road. So go ahead and put in the comments below if you've ever been in a situation where you could have benefited from breaking up early. All right, so now let's get to Hannah. So Hannah, obviously she was a client of mine, and you know the drill. It's a fake name, real story, fake name. So we were working together. She had been working with me for a long time. And this time, I told her that, okay, now she's going to meet someone, and she was excited, and I was excited for her because she was a long-term client for me, and it was nice to see that something good was happening in her life. So I predicted the meeting, and she mentioned that, okay, this meeting happened and I met this person, and she was looking at dating apps, and she met this person through the dating apps, which is not a bad thing. But when she met this person, there were like a few things about it which were slightly different. And Hannah was concerned about those few things, whatever the slightly different things were. So she came to me with the other question, which was like, she wanted to know if this relationship was going to be the long-term thing that she was looking for. And when I looked at it, unfortunately, it turned out the reading was very blunt, unfortunately, and it showed a no. And I was really sad, but that's what it showed. So that's what I told her, that it wasn't going to be a long-term thing. So at this point in time, she had only known the person for, I would say, less than a week. So it was very, very new, and she had just kind of met him, and she was chatting with him on the app, or however way they were chatting with each other. So it was more through text messaging rather than voice exchange. All right, so now she comes to me and I give her the bad news, which is it is not going to last. But we've known each other for a long time, so she was cool with it. She's like, okay, so now that I know it's not going to last, how do I break it up? Because she had been through this before, so this time she was more prepared, and she didn't really want to spend time kind of just dragging the whole thing along, and then kind of breaking up and realizing that, oh my God, it wasn't really the right thing, kind of a thing. So when I told her that it wasn't meant to be, then she said, you know what, I'll just break up early. So what do I need to do to break up? She didn't want to be the one to initiate the breakup, but she did want to break up early. All right, so now what to do to make the breakup happen, which is like, not many people would ask this question because they're not in the same frame as Hannah. You have to understand, I think this needs a little bit of a reference that she had been in some bad relationships before and she didn't really want to drag the thing this time. She just wanted to call it quits if it wasn't going to work out. And she was really happy doing it that way based on her past. Okay. So now I mentioned that she met him on a dating app and then they were just texting each other. So I told her that why don't you go and talk to him on the phone? So the next thing she did is, I don't know exactly what she did or how she did it, but they got on a phone call. So she starts talking to this person on the phone. And remember, initially, they're just texting each other through the texting app, whatever app they're using. And then she switches to a voice conversation. And remember that our voice carries with it an energy. And if you are sensitive to energy or if you know how to read energy, then just from the voice, you can tell a lot of things about the person. I have a video on how you can decode the voice and I'll link it in the description below. But Hannah had this phone call with, let's say, John Doe. So Hannah has this phone call with John Doe, and then after the phone call is done, she comes to me and she says, I think you were right. Because she felt that after she spoke to the person, something in the energy of his voice was not aligned. It wasn't matching. It was very subtle, but you have to understand that Hannah came from a different place. Her level of intuition was slightly high, plus she had help working with me to decode a lot of things. So combining all these pieces of evidence, it kind of helped her to speed things up or to move faster or to go faster. So after she has this phone conversation, she's like, I think you were right, this is not it. And she kind of felt her energy drain from her. She just knew that this really wasn't the person. So that is part 2 of the story, which is like a point in the journey where she is intentionally causing the breakup because she doesn't want to get hurt in the end. She doesn't want to drag things just for the sake of it. All right, so that is point 2. So at this point, she knows in her heart that it is not meant to be. How exactly does the movie play out? Well, after that, they are still kind of talking and chatting to each other, and something happened between the two of them which caused him to break up with her. Now, whether or not that something is important is not really important. Either way, the breakup was coming. Whether she wanted it here, say, let's say in a week scenario, in a month scenario, in a year scenario, was up to her. So what she did was she brought this year down all the way to here, and maybe she broke up in a week, or maybe it was 2 weeks. But whatever it was, she kind of sped up the whole thing because she didn't want to engage with another person with whom she already knew what the outcome was going to be. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you think that Hannah did the right thing by breaking up with John Doe early, or if you feel like she had to procrastinate or delay things and drag things on, then you can put that in the comments below. But personally, what I feel is that what Hannah did was the right thing, especially for her in her situation. In her scenario, based on whatever she had experienced in the past, this is exactly what she wanted to do for now, for this particular relationship with this particular person. Which brings me to the next point, how to speed up the ending. So essentially, like Hannah, so in this particular scenario, Hannah asked a very specific question, which is, how do I break up? And she had a very specific answer from me that, hey, if you want to break up, do this, and the breakup will happen by itself. So they did the phone call, and then the breakup happened, however way it happened. But maybe if she had not done the call during that time, or if she had prolonged the call, or however way she had done it differently, then the breakup would have just been pushed out further in time. So in order for you to be able to speed up the ending, one thing you can do is leverage the power of your intuition and kind of get a gut feeling on whether or not this is the right person for you for a long-term relationship. And if your intuition is telling you that it's not, then it's totally up to you whether or not you would like to speed up your ending or not. Now, it is unlikely that your intuition is going to be wrong. It's possible that the interpretation of what you thought your intuition was telling you could be incorrect, but intuition by itself will not be incorrect. It is going to give you or guide you in the right direction and give you the right answer. So one way for you to speed up an ending is to tap into your own intuition. Another way is to raise your level of awareness and see what is right in the relationship, or kind of see what is beyond the surface. And I have another video which I did, which I'll link in the description below, but essentially you have to be able to see past what the other person is saying. So there's a saying that actions speak louder than words. So essentially you have to look at the actions of the person and see if you feel those actions are appropriate or they are not appropriate. Like, are they matching the words or they are not matching the words? Or is something else wrong in the actions, in the sense that maybe their body language is giving you a different answer. Maybe their voice is giving you a different answer. So there could be so many things. So essentially, the bottom line is you have to raise your awareness, or you have to up-level your intuition, or you could get help in terms of a psychic reading and kind of figure out if things are really going to move forward. If not, it would benefit you, or at least most people. I don't know about you in particular, but most people, it would benefit from speeding up the ending. So by doing this, what you're doing is essentially you're turning this loss into another opportunity, meaning that you cut your losses sooner so that you can open the door for more opportunities or different opportunities in the future. Because remember, if you kept this door open, you're not going to be able to open any new doors, at least not while this door is open. In the sense that if Hannah had stayed with John, or kind of prolonged the breakup, then she probably wouldn't be in a state of mind or in a frame of mind to entertain another person. So if you feel unsure about where you are in your relationship with the other person, then go ahead and you can complete the form to work with me, or book a psychic reading in order for you to be able to get help to work with me. And I'm more than happy to help you out, look into the scenario and tell you with a neutral perspective as to what is going on, so that if it is not meant to last, or if it is not going to be a long-term relationship, then you're going to end up saving a lot of time. Unless, if you don't want it, then it's a different story. If you just are looking for a short-term relationship, then it's not going to apply to you. But most of the clients who come to me, they are looking for long-term relationships, and that is the reason that Hannah wanted to break this up early, because she knew that this train was not taking her to the destination that she was looking for. So what we looked at is how you can avoid the heartbreak, and how Hannah kind of got help with her intuition as well as the power of psychic readings to speed up an ending, and you too can do the same. So now, what if you're looking for someone and you're unsure of where you're going to meet the person or where you're going to come across the person? That is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video.